Okay, so it all comes down to this. Super Bowl 59 is right around the corner, and ahead of their rematch with the Chiefs, the Eagles just got great news. As despite early reports of Jalen Carter and other key players getting sick ahead of the big game, we got some new updates on that situation that are extremely positive. Meanwhile, the Eagles have some clear advantages in this matchup that should have the Chiefs terrified. So let's break down why we could see great performances from Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts, as well as how the defense could shut down Patrick Mahomes and KC's offense. And overall, just what are the Eagles going to have to do to become Super Bowl champions? Well, we're going to talk about that and all the other news leading into Super Bowl 59 starting right now. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Philly Fan 21 channel. If you're new, I'm Evan, and I cover all things Philadelphia Eagles. And again, it all comes down to this, as after what has felt like the longest week ever of pointless media sessions and a whole bunch of distractions, we are finally almost ready for the big game, as the Philadelphia Eagles will take on the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 59 in just a couple of days, and there's no doubt that this is going to be an amazing matchup. Because on the dark side, you got the Chiefs, who everybody is obviously rooting against, but if we're being fully honest, it's really mostly just because nobody can seem to beat them, and they obviously got the face of the NFL and one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in Patrick Mahomes. They got some other really great players, headlined by Travis Kelce, and they got one of the greatest coaches of all time in Andy Reid. And here they are, back in the big game again, playing for their third straight Super Bowl win, which would be the first three-peat in NFL history. And then on the good side, you got the Philadelphia Eagles, led by quarterback Jalen Hurts and head coach Nick Sirianni, two guys who continue to be disrespected and doubted despite all their success. Plus, the Birds might have the most talented roster in football, headlined by Saquon Barkley, who has helped take this team to the next level this season, and the fact that they also have the best defense in football surely helps out a lot too. And this is a team who has done a lot of winning themselves recently, it's just that they haven't been able to win the big one yet. And now they're back in the Super Bowl for the second time in 3 years against the team that crushed their Super Bowl dreams just 2 seasons ago. So if you're not fired up for this one, then there might be something wrong with you, because this is what it's all about right here. I mean, our Eagles got a chance to do something special, because not only can they bring the Lombardi back to Philadelphia in what would be the second Super Bowl title in franchise history, while also giving the entire city something they will never forget, but they can also save the NFL from this Kansas City Chiefs dynasty by destroying their hopes of getting the first ever three-peat, while also avenging their loss from 2 years ago in the process. Now, the Eagles are currently in the final stages of preparing for the big game, so we got some updates to get into regarding that. But first, I actually want to talk about what went down at the NFL Honors Awards ceremony last night, as our very own Saquon Barkley took home the Offensive Player of the Year award, which is really no surprise. I mean, Barkley did rush for 2,000 yards and have one of the best individual seasons that we've ever seen from a running back, after all. I mean, honestly, if it was up to me, I think he should have been the MVP. But even so, it's still just awesome to see him officially get recognized by winning this award, being the Offensive Player of the Year award, so congrats to him on that, and it's very well deserved. Unfortunately, though, Barkley was the only Eagle to take home an award last night, as all the other guys that were up for awards and had a legit chance to win, specifically being Vic Fangio, Zach Baun, and Quinyon Mitchell, were all somewhat robbed in my opinion. I mean, you're telling me that the Eagles had the #1 defense in the league this year after being nearly dead last a season ago, and yet Vic Fangio finishes behind 2 other DCs and 4th overall for Assistant Coach of the Year? I mean, you're going to tell me that Zach Baun just had the best linebacker season since Luke Kuechly's Defensive Player of the Year season, yet he only finished 5th in the voting? And then also, you're going to tell me that Jared Verse somehow deserved Defensive Rookie of the Year so much more than Quinyon Mitchell that he got 37 first-place votes to Quinyon's just 9? I mean, I just don't get it, and I'm not necessarily saying that they all should have won, but I feel like each of them deserve better than what they got. But hey, like Anthony DeBonis said, they all got a chance to get the last laugh by winning the Super Bowl.
But with that said, okay, fine, you can have that. I'm gonna get this.
Now, the Birds are down to the final few days of preparation here before the big game, and on Thursday, one of the big questions was whether or not Nick Sirianni is going to do what he did 2 years ago and open things up for the players to address the team the night before the game. Because if you remember, that wound up being pretty special the last time they did that.
All right. Honestly, y'all, we ain't got much to say. It's about going to do. When that ball get kicked, it's ball. It's time to go. It's going to be as normal as it's been, man. It's a football game.
Ever since I got here, man, it's been a family, you know. Like Fletch said, man, it's been one of the most funnest years I've ever played football.
We a team. No man is an island. You draw your strength from the man next to you. We are a team. And don't do anything anything more than being the person that you work your ass off to be, and being a team that we work our ass off to be. Because the only person that can stop us is us.
to be honest, I get real emotional. I don't know if all this emotion is good, but like I can't help myself. Like when I get going to this game, when I get to these big moments, I think everything I do to get here, all the all of us. Think how much think how hard it was to get to this moment. If we just got one more.
You know, when all the years stack up, you realize this is a special game, and these are special moments. So rather than playing out of fear, failure, or doubt, play for the dude to the right and left of you, like I've been doing with this dude for 10 years. So it means a lot to a lot of people, man. I love everybody in this room.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly hope that they do that again, because it's just one more thing that'll bring the team closer together before they go to war one last time. Plus, you know, BG specifically is going to get emotional and shed some tears with this likely being his final game of his career and all. So, again, I hope they do it. And the good news is Nick Sirianni certainly made it sound like the plan is to try and recreate that on Saturday night. So, I definitely love that. And also, I love the news that the Eagles have got on the injury front this week, as even though they still have a practice to get through today and we won't have a final injury report until a bit later this afternoon, it seems like all the guys are going to be healthy and ready to go in this matchup, including guys like BG, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, and Devontae Smith. So that's definitely fantastic news in itself. But then on top of that, the Birds also got some other great news regarding the status of another star player. But now, real quick, I want to take a minute to talk about the sponsor of today's video, MyBookie. The conference championships are officially over, and with Super Bowl 59 between the Eagles and Chiefs on the way, MyBookie allows you to get in on all the action, as whether you want to bet on the straight-up outcome of the game, the spread, the point total, or the over-under on player stats, along with a variety of other things, MyBookie really does have something for everybody. Plus, you can take advantage of their risk-free Thursdays, as utilizing this offer, if you place a bet that doesn't hit, then they'll refund you your deposit up to a certain amount. In addition, MyBookie also offers a variety of games on their online casino that you can win big with, plus they offer a variety of other unique opportunities as well. And if you sign up today using my promo code PhillyFan, you'll receive an extra 50% bonus on your first deposit up to $1,000, along with a $10 casino chip. But most importantly, guys, please, please, please gamble responsibly, and if you do have a gambling problem, then please seek help and call 1-800-GAMBLER. And again, thank you to MyBookie for sponsoring today's video. So really, the big story from the past couple of days for the Eagles has been regarding an illness that started with Jalen Carter and has apparently been spreading through the team just ahead of the Super Bowl, as on Thursday, John Clark reported, quote, "Eagles defensive coordinator Vic Fangio told me Jalen Carter has an illness that is going around through some of the team, but he hopes Jalen will be good for the Super Bowl." And then on top of that, Lane Johnson also told the Philadelphia Inquirer that there's apparently 4 or 5 players dealing with illnesses before the Super Bowl, including Carter and Nolan Smith, who have flu-like symptoms, and also Quinyon Mitchell, who has laryngitis. So that's probably not what you want to hear just a few days ahead of the biggest game of the season. However, the good news is that it was also reported that none of those guys were ever thought to be in danger of missing the Super Bowl, and for Jalen Carter specifically, he was upgraded to a full participant in practice on Thursday, while Vic Fangio said that he expects him to be at 100% on Sunday. And then to add on to the good news, Derek Gunn reported late Thursday night that he was told a lot of the guys who were dealing with illnesses were feeling a lot better. So it certainly doesn't sound like whatever illness is going around the Eagles locker room is going to be an issue on Sunday. And on the contrary, if you're superstitious, it might actually be a good sign that the Eagles have been getting sick ahead of the Super Bowl, as the exact same thing happened to the Birds before Super Bowl 52, with multiple guys including Timmy Jernigan and Nelson Aguilar being ill during the week, and they obviously all played and the Eagles won that game. And then fast forward to Super Bowl 57, and this time it was Chris Jones and the Chiefs dealing with some sickness in the locker room, but again, those guys obviously all played, and unfortunately, they won that game as well. So who knows, maybe it's good luck that the Birds have been sick this week. But that said, it's obviously going to take a lot more than luck to beat this Chiefs team, because there's a reason they went 15-2 and are going for their 3rd straight Super Bowl. So there is no doubt that the Eagles are going to have to bring their A game in this one. That said, personally, I'm very confident in the Birds' ability to get the job done for multiple reasons. One just simply being Saquon Barkley and the Eagles' run game, because as I've talked about earlier in the week, this is a Chiefs defense that has allowed almost 150 rushing yards per game and a high yards per carry average to opposing running backs during these playoffs. Meanwhile, Saquon Barkley has averaged almost 150 yards rushing by himself during the playoffs, and throughout the season, he's just torn apart some of the league's best run defenses, which is why when I see Chiefs fans saying that Barkley isn't going to be able to have the same success against Spags in the Chiefs defense, I just don't buy into that, because for one, Saquon and the Eagles O-line are just simply different, and add on top of that the fact that the Chiefs' run defense tends to struggle against runs out of 11 personnel, and I'm even more confident that Barkley can have a big day, because the Eagles have used 11 personnel on 81% of their snaps this postseason, and Barkley has gained an average of 6.9 yards per carry. So again, the numbers definitely make it seem like Saquon is poised for a big day. And if he is, and the Eagles dominate on the ground, then the Chiefs could be in trouble, because not only does that take the ball out of Mahomes' hands, but we also saw that in the one Super Bowl that KC did lose, being to the Tampa Bay Bucks, Leonard Fournette and those guys gutted the Chiefs on the ground. So assuming Barkley does have a big performance, then I think that'll go a long way in helping the Eagles pull out the win. But we also have to remember that the last time these two teams met in the Super Bowl, the Eagles really didn't get any production from their running backs, yet they stayed in it in a shootout because Jalen Hurts was absolutely lights out in that game. So 2 years later, whether Barkley and the run game are rolling or not, I'm expecting more solid play from Hurts. I mean, let's be fair. This is a guy who has proven this season that he can win in every way possible, whether it's running the ball or throwing it. So no matter what they ask him to do in the Super Bowl, I expect he'll be able to execute it and at a high level. Plus, he's also someone that steps up in the biggest moments, and we've seen him come up clutch countless times before. And last game against the Commanders in the NFC Championship was obviously a big moment, and Jalen came through and had an absolutely incredible performance, also with the help of a great game plan and great play calling by Kellen Moore. So, assuming the offense looks similar to that, I see no reason to believe that Hurts won't have another great performance in the Super Bowl. And then in terms of the receiving game, I expect all three guys in A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert to be able to make an impact, and I'll predict that each one is going to have at least one very important play. That said, as I talked about in my video yesterday, keep an eye out for Dallas Goedert specifically to have a big game, as one of the Chiefs' big weaknesses on defense is that they are the worst team in the entire league this season when it comes to covering tight ends. But all that aside, the biggest key offensively just has to be for the Eagles to not beat themselves by turning the ball over. I mean, they just absolutely cannot afford to make big mistakes like that against this Chiefs team, because they'll make you pay. So assuming they can take care of the ball like they've done all season, then I think the Eagles offense could be set up for a very successful day. And then defensively, I went more in depth on this in the previous video, but I think they match up great with this Chiefs offense, just being honest. I mean, if you watch film, what makes KC's offense dangerous is the fact that it's very well designed, and they rely a lot on trying to fool the defense with things like motion, misdirection, and unique formations. And they've been able to kill defenses by getting short gains and getting a lot of yards after catch. However, they lack talent, so they aren't a big play offense, and they're limited in the sense that if you can keep them behind the sticks or you can get an early lead on them, they aren't designed to bounce back from this situation. So as long as the Eagles defense can stay disciplined, not fall for the trickery, fly to the ball carrier, and tackle well, they should be in a good position to slow these guys down. And the good thing is, those are things that the Eagles defense has done well all season long. Plus, as I talked about in previous videos, they have the clear talent advantage over the Chiefs offense, and they also have the edge in the trenches, so I feel like they can definitely have some success getting after Patrick Mahomes in this game and pressuring him. Oh, and if they can also get a couple turnovers like they've been doing all year, that'd be great too. Now overall, do I think this is going to be an easy game? Absolutely not, but as I just explained, I do think the Eagles have the edge in a lot of areas, and as long as they play their game and do what they've done all season, then I think they should be able to win this ballgame. And as much as the national media wants to doubt us and hate on us, I'm confident, and I'm going to pick the Eagles to win Super Bowl 59 over the Chiefs by a final score of 34-27. And I'm also predicting Saquon Barkley to win Super Bowl MVP to cap off what has been a truly special season for Barkley and the Birds. That said, give me your score predictions for the Super Bowl down in the comments below, and also, if you guys don't want to miss any coverage coming from the fallout of the Super Bowl to the rest of the entire offseason, then make sure you guys subscribe, and also really importantly, turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and also leave a like down below because it really does help me out a ton. Let's see if we can get to 700 likes on today's video, and also check out my bookie if you are interested, and sign up using the link down in my description, and use promo code PhillyFan. Again, if you are going to sign up, then please gamble responsibly. And if you want to watch another Eagles video going over some stuff from earlier in the week, you can check this out right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.